Hi, friends. It's Dawn, the Recovery Lady, here for episode 8. Yay! I need one of those laugh tracks or something, those cheering tracks in the background. That means we've been together for 8 weeks, 2 months on this recovery journey. But you know, the journey's timeless. If you're just joining us and this is your first video ever, welcome. I'm Dawn, the Recovery Lady, and this series is on conquering empty nest syndrome. Today's episode is going to be on self-care. I was with some very trusted friends about a week ago, and they said, we've never really taken good care of ourselves. It was two moms who have multiple children each. They were just, talking about over the years as their children were growing up, everything went toward the kids. I don't need this. The kids need something. I don't need to get my hair done. The kids need something. I don't need to go golf. I don't need to do anything as the kids need something. You know, we say often for a lot of people when couples become parents, you've heard me say this several times, they stop being a couple. That's why you have to have a date night every week when you're young, your kids are little, so you don't lose contact with each other. But what does that self-care look like for you? Are you like these friends of mine who said, and hey, I was right in that boat too when I had minors before I was an empty nester. It's a self-sacrifice we do as parents, and we don't take care of ourselves. So we're going to look at the 5 different types of self-care today that you can implement right now where you are for yourself. That's also going to help redirect your thinking. When we start caring for ourselves, it redirects our thinking toward us. I mentioned this in episode 7 that a lot of times when our kids are gone, it forces us to look at our mate, evaluate our relationships, and a chance to rebuild, but it's even more painful sometimes to look at ourselves. If I'm taking care of you, I don't have to look at me, because that's a scary thing. But as we start to adapt and adjust and learn to self-care, we're going to get better. We're going to get stronger. Our mood's going to improve. Who knows? Kids might want to come home sometime and you may not have room in your schedule. So that's what it looks like. First kind I want to talk about is physical. When you say self-care, everybody thinks eat right, go to the gym. I won't spend too much time on that. Yes, it's important. We go through different seasons. Maybe we're not able to do that. We have health struggles. COVID, post-COVID has certainly taken a toll on most people who had it, have a residual, but there's always something you can do. So you want to move your body. Moving your body, whether you're sitting in the chair doing this, swishing, something where you're moving your body that's appropriate for you with your doctor's permission. That's going to increase the endorphins in your brain, help the serotonin shoot better. These are mood enhancers. It seems like I'm too tired and the TV's calling me in and binging on Netflix or what other streaming app you have. I have a lot of them. And it's a lie. It's our brain lying to ourselves. What we eat, yes. When I eat a box of donuts, I don't do that anymore. Lord knows, just one takes me out. But I feel like a box of donuts. So just looking at those basic needs. For some of you, having the kids out of the house might mean you can afford a nice pork loin for yourself when everybody was eating hamburger before. Even hamburger is expensive now. So what can you do to invest that time and money into your physical care? Not just exercise, not just what you eat, but self-care. My friends were saying, gosh, I never went for manicures. I never really ever got my hair done. And some people, I have another friend, people look at themselves in the mirror and say, oh, what happened? What did I turn into? How did I let myself go so much? What is something you can do for you? You want to color your hair, you want to cut your hair, you want to try a different style of clothes. Look and reevaluate what's for you, and always, always, always deal with what you have, not with what you want to have. Don't buy the size you want to buy, you want to be. Address what's here right now. That's what will make you feel good. Secondly, relational health. Were all your relationships with your kids? I've shared with you, I had a lot of enmeshment, but my kids, we stuck together tight, pulled together to move forward financially, all help each other. I mean, I was parenting them, but it was everybody, pulling together to move forward. And for me, I think a mistake I made is I never really developed an outside support system very much outside of 1 to 2 people. Everything was about my kids. So when they left, it was just like pulling my chest out. Where are my people? Now I'm building new people. What does your relational health look like? Are you sitting home with the same friends you've had forever, never building a new community at all, hoping that, Tiffany or Brandon are going to call, sitting by the phone and waiting? That's not a community. Believe me, your kids don't want you to be there when they and if they call. It makes our kids feel better when we are out building our own lives. It takes guilt off them. And I know I met somebody, actually went on a blind date with somebody once. Not a blind date. It's one of those dates, I don't know, internet thing. And I only went with this person once or twice, but you know why there was never a third date? Because that individual said to me, yeah, I just laid this guilt trip on my kids. I want them to feel bad for what they did. And I thought, and there was no third date. Guilt tripping anybody, especially your children, is going to push them further away. That was a lot of transparency right there. So your kids want to know in your empty nesting that you are out there with your friends, doing things, getting out. If you're single, doesn't mean you have to be dating, but that you've built a life for yourself outside of them. It takes the guilt off them. And even what might bring them a little closer to you, like, hey, where's mom, dad, aunt? Where are they? What are they doing? And they'll check on you. But it's really important. So we have the physical health, what we eat, what we drink, a little exercise, doing things, clothing and self-care. Maybe buy those, if you drink a lot of coffee, those bleaching strips for your teeth. Something just to make you feel good about your body. Not be stashing, oh, I'm going to go buy this because when Betty comes home or Hazel's here for Christmas, they're going to love this outfit. Go get yourself something. We have to literally retrain ourselves to do that in our empty nesting time. So we have the relational, we have the physical, we also have the financial health. Now you might be saying, I am financially set, my financial health, I'm on track, I have all the money in the bank so I can retire one day, or you're already retired, you're sitting fat, feeling good. Or you might be on the other side saying, look, I can't scrape together 2 cents to pay the electric bill. Financial health, you can always be healthier. If you're sitting large, feeling, fat on the wallet or whatever they say, and you're doing great, just that's wonderful. And that stress, hey, for those of you that have it, it's wonderful. But just evaluate, I might have all this, but am I being philanthropic? Am I donating to charities, to my church, to my synagogue, to my temple? Am I using what God's blessed me with to help other people? Because you might think you're all secure with your stocks, your bonds, and your 401k, but we're called to also bless other people. So no matter how much you have, that can improve your financial health. If you're sitting on your 2 dimes trying to pay your electric bill, I've been there. I've been there too. And the best thing I know when I went through that, and I can easily go back to that, it's like buy something and hope that it goes through. I think I have enough money. I don't really want to look because it's scary. That denial, when we push it down, yeah, I know I have this much in credit cards and student loans and this and that, but I just don't want to look at it. We push it down because it seems easier. It's festering inside. It's going to manifest in our behaviors, our actions, our sleep, what we eat, if we start drinking. There's a lot of things. Just opening, well, it's not a checkbook anymore. Opening your bank online and seeing what you have, writing it down and becoming aware takes that pressure off. It's like, okay, here's where I can cut down. Maybe it's bad news. Maybe you have to do a bankruptcy. I don't know. But there's no way to the other side if we keep our heads buried. So, relational, financial, physical. The 4th type is spiritual. I'll ask, I've had countless clients and patients come across my desk, the therapy room, the counseling room, groups, and I find that a lot of people, I would say a great amount of people, a majority of the people I've worked with have come in for treatment or mental health support to facilities where I've worked, and they don't want to hear about a higher power at all. Because if it was a loving higher power, this would have never happened, that. And inevitably, in working with people, it always has come back to somehow their higher power, they feel, let them down. Didn't answer a prayer, didn't heal somebody's sickness, didn't save something, their finances, and they're carrying bitterness. You know, the hardest two things to forgive in life are ourselves and God. We have to sometimes forgive our higher power for our perception of Him and what that is. And to forgive ourselves, that can be the most excruciating thing at all, but it gets you to the other side. If you went to a church, so a lot of people were hurt in a church. Oh, that's what, I am a Christian. I have shared that, follower of Jesus Christ. Some people have said, I went to church and those people were mean and they were judgmental. Well, dude, go to a different church, because you got to remember, God's not like standing there, running the day-to-day of the church. He's overseeing it as the higher power, but people hurt people. And we can't judge our higher power based on unhealthy people. And I'm going to tell you, there's plenty of churches all around, and I'm sure there's plenty in your area. Ask a friend, ask at work, ask a neighbor, hey, where do you go to fellowship? And start adding that into your life. You could start just by meditating, breathing, praying, getting still, and that can open the door to a faith system. I haven't seen long-term sobriety in people without a higher power. Now you might say, hey, there are recovery programs that are based on self-will, but there isn't a lot of long-term sobriety with that, at least not yet. So I want to challenge you as you're filling that void in self-care. What faith system did you grow up? Lutheran? Visit a Lutheran church. That's not working for you? Go to a non-denominational church. You shop around for a church like you shop around for shoes until you find one that fits, because there is one that fits you. Plus it gets you out of the house. It gets you meeting a lot of people. It's part of your overall health. So that is number 4. And the last one I'm going to cover today, and I might do a part 2 on this because there are other levels, is intellectual health. When we become an empty nester and we retire, this wasn't meant to retire. Our mind was never meant to retire. This is going to be going forever. If you're sitting home sedentary, pouting, maybe you're retired, because a lot of folks, I'd say all of my friends are retired. I really can't think of any working friends right now. You're probably watching this going, to me, Dawn, I work. I do have some, but so many are retired. Sitting home and waiting for life to happen to you, or saying, well, this is what I was supposed to do, is not the answer. You will get depressed. And guess what? It could bring on early dementia and other issues because you're not using your mind. And I mean more than a crossword puzzle. Getting out and learning something. I remember always thinking growing up, that, you get the community flyers and magazines, and there's classes at the rec center in your town, and come learn how to glaze ceramics or whatever. And it's like, who does that? Losers do. I mean, I had a pretty narrow-minded view of it. And, I got for my community that magazine this last week, and I had a harder week in my empty nesting this last week. And I opened it up going, yeah, I might want to do that. That does sound interesting to me. And you know what? I'm okay going alone to that. No one's going to knock at your door with your next job or your next purpose. We go out and try things on. If you don't like ceramics, don't take it. If you don't like the salsa dancing class, don't take it again. But getting out, learning new things, keeping yourself and your mind agile, taking a class or a night class or a class at the community college, always building your skill set, learning new things. If you're miserable and you are still working like myself, but you don't like your job, you can learn while you're there. Most companies, you can tell them, here's my aspiration. What can I study and do to move into that? And don't tell me it's too late to go to school. I got my master's later in life and did a midlife career change. The time is going to go by anyway. You can have 10 years go by and still be sitting there waiting for your kid to call in the chair, or you could have got a degree or learned a new skill or built a new community. All of these are phases of self-care. So let's go over quickly. We have relational, physical, financial, spiritual, and intellectual. We weren't meant to stop living because our kids left. And I just want to tell you, you could be say, Dawn, I'm killing it. I'm at my ideal weight. I'm eating all the things. I'm doing all the things right. I'm killing it. You can be off in one of these. You can have great relational, physical health, intellectual and spiritual. You're getting your doctorate. You're doing all the things. But if your financial health is bad, then you're not going to be okay. You'll be off balance. You need to work on all of these areas. Start the one with your biggest deficit. Start with the one with your biggest deficit and pour into you. You're worth it. You're beautifully and wonderfully made. God loves you. Pour into you. This is your time. Thanks for joining me this week. Please, please, please subscribe if you haven't. I'm trying to really boost viewership. Like and share, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends. Love you.